¿Qué pasa? What's up? Antonio here, and today I have a magical top 5 just for you. In this case, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Penguin Live lectures. I love taking a look at lectures. Some people, my girlfriend is always like, are you truly going to watch 4 hours of a guy talking over and over and over about how to create magic tricks, how to perform magic tricks, explaining some tricks? And I'm like, hell, I'm gonna do it, of course. And if it was like 6 hours, I would watch it completely and even more happily. So I'm going to start right now talking about my top 5 with some honorable mentions. So without further ado, let's get started with this magical Penguin Lectures top 5. Woo! Okay, let's get started. Something that I didn't mention before, which is quite important, is that I am basing this top 5 because of the amount of material that I am currently using or that I used in the past. There are a lot of lectures that I love, but maybe I didn't use that much material from them. Okay, so top 5 is David McCreary's Penguin Live lecture. I love this guy. A lot of things that I use from this guy. The no gag, he takes the usual, the classic no gag, and makes it like an entire act, an entire show on itself, the no gag. I love his sponge ball Monty with the squeakers. Every time that I use something with sponges right now, like sponge rabbits, sponge balls, balls from the mouth, I am always carrying a couple of squeakers, and I talk about this in my comfortable show and in my close-up show, my close-up case, because it is outstanding. It is a great piece, extremely funny. And this is something that most people maybe that look at the act, he's giving you like his full 30-minute act for a corporate show or anything like that. And most people can see that and go like, okay, there is like a lot of comedy, a lot of jokes, but not a lot of magic. But that's the thing, this guy is extremely funny and is like a funny magical, there is like magical funny moments. Those moments are funny, but at the same time they are magical. When you are squeezing the balls and now it's a different ball and now it's the table that squeeze and now he shows that he has a squeaker and then he changed the squeaker. It's great. It's a great moment full of magic, and then he goes towards balls over the head using the sponge balls, which is extremely funny. And I love that. And he has very interesting methods. He talks about how to do the usual game when you are not talking, the trick when you are not talking and you are showing the cue cards for people to read, and then you show that in your mouth you have a card, and he shows a great way to do that trick completely open, so anyone can name any card at all and you can do it without any kind of problem. I love his method to perform the shredded wheel. He has like 5 envelopes, and in every envelope there is a piece of magazine, and inside of one of the envelopes he plays a bill from a member of the audience, and he starts shredding the bills, like take a bill, shred it into a big shredding machine, and the last one is the one that has the bill. So it's incredible. It's outstanding, an outstanding piece of magic. That thing, even Don Harlan said to him, oh my god, that method is extremely brilliant and extremely clean for the shredded bill. And I love also a routine that I use because it's extremely simple. You just need a deck of cards, a marker, and a piece of rope, which is something that I always carry around. In my case, I always carry around a piece of rope to some stand from another routine, a deck of cards and a marker, and he performs card to mouth but having his hands tied up in the back, which makes it like a completely different trick. And he has a lot of gags, pulling the hand up, like putting the cards inside, then taking out like the hands that are tied. Extremely funny. It's a show that you see it and you laugh more and more and more. If you are a comedy performer, cabaret performer, any kind of stage performer that you want to be funny on stage, this lecture is for you. Okay, number 4, the master, Sir the Miss Scott Alexander. I think that Scott Alexander, together with some other magicians that they are going to appear in this list, could be like 95% of the material that I use on stage every night. And his lecture, he has a lot of Christmas specials and things like that, but his lecture where he shows is like his parlor kind of close-up act when he uses like a chop cup with a bill and a mug, produces a couple of pieces of fruit. I use his way of understanding loads and things like that into my chop cup routine. My favorite way, and I want to talk in a video about the different methods that I study to perform bill in fruit. And my preferred method is his method, where he simply produces the fruit from the cup, doing a chop cup routine, and then he cuts open the fruit, and the bill that he used as the ball for the whole routine is inside the fruit, which is bonkers. I love his presentation of the invisible deck. I have my own presentation for the invisible deck, but I love the beat that he has in there with a watch. He has an outstanding routine with a jumbo card as a gag sequence that I add into my close-up routine with several jumbo cards, like the long card and the 3.5 of clubs, and I love that beat with it's basically like a double facer jumbo card, extremely funny. And that's the thing with Scott Alexander, it's like very simple effects. He also performs Ring Flight, he also performs the 3-card Monty, but he has like that much magic and personality and charisma packed into that. I love his presentation of the card to bottle, and I've never seen this. I heard about the trick, but I never seen it, and it's like extremely magical, and you just need a deck of cards, a marker to sign the card, and a beer bottle. That's it, that's everything you need, and it's extremely magical. For me, maybe I am used to see things appearing inside of fruit, but for me it's even more magical than that, because the card is completely open inside the bottle, and even like kind of glued, kind of attached to one of the sides, so it's something even beautiful to carry around, to bring home with you. It's outstanding, 100% outstanding lecture. And let me take a look, let's see if there is something that I am missing. Building fruit, the card to bottle, the chop cup, it's great, full of magic, full of gags. I love all of the gags that he has there with the ring, with the sign bill. Yeah, it's great, and it is an act, very important, this is an act that could perfectly fit in a box like this big. That's it, like it's even smaller than a shoe box, and you can travel the world mesmerizing people. Yeah, what a true master. Okay, number 3. Oh my god, this lecture is amazing. Cody Fisher's lecture. I love this guy, together with Scott Alexander and some more people that is about to come. The main guilty agents that are guilty for me having a magic show, basically. It's great the amount of things that he shows here. His routine for the half-dyed silk is great. I love his understanding about the routine. Something that I really struggled with a silk routine was using smaller silks. Right? Because you want bigger silks to be used, to be more beautiful. But he explained his logic for using smaller silks and the justification, right? To use smaller silks in order to create diffusion effects for the half-dyed silk is great, outstanding routine. A gag that he uses to open the show is a gag that I use in my show number 3, which is the tip jar gag, and it is great. It's a great gag that you can use in every show where you ask for some money. As I mentioned in one of the videos, one of the magical tips, in order to create a bigger impact for a trick, you must separate the trick. If you do part of a trick here, like vanishing a bill here, and then you make the bill reappear, then, like a couple of tricks later, for some reason that's stronger for lay audiences than simply vanishing the bill and then making it reappear, right? So in this case, with the tip jar, you have some kind of a similar effect. You ask for the bill, you put the bill inside the tip jar, and that's sitting in there for the whole show. And at the end of the show is when you take the bill out and you do the effect that you want to perform with it. So it is great, and it is like a running gag, like a theme during the whole show. The fact that you have these guys 20, 50, 100 bill in here, it's great, extremely funny. I also love his handling of the invisible deck, his book test, it's extremely funny, it's great. I love his bill to lemon, although I feel more, I feel closer to Scott Alexander's or the next guy that I'm going to be talking about idea of doing the build to fruit. I love how he handles the invisible deck. The killer prediction, simply killer prediction is worth, this is like a cliche thing to say, but simply killer prediction is worth the entire lecture. So yeah, a lot of material from this guy I am using currently, in the past, and I would be using in the future. Cody Fisher, what's a master. Okay, number 2, my top 2, I think there is very few to say here, Michael Ammar. I could leave it in here, like, do I have to say anything else? Michael Ammar, oh my god, I love his caps and balls routine. I never perform caps and balls in front of people, but I am sure that if I am ever performing caps and balls in front of people, I am going to be using Michael Ammar's routine. It's outstanding. It's not my favorite routine. I have a video where I talk about my top 5, my top 5 favorite caps and balls routine. Michael Ammar is right there, but I think that is a caps and ball routine that is quite difficult to master, but it seems extremely simple. It's not like other caps and balls routine that I love watching that are quite convoluted with a lot of moves. In this case, Michael Ammar is doing something extremely that looks simple, that looks like extremely simple, like producing the balls, making the balls travel. He's eliminating cups one by one until he only has 1 cup and 1 ball, and then he puts 3 cups back together, and now all of the loads appear, and all the little details that he gives you, like the position of the feet, to make sure that the hand that you are using to pick up the ball is the logic hand to use, where the magic wand is set. Everything, how to produce the loads, how to place the cups when the routine is finished, so people don't think that something else is coming, is great. It's simply and utterly unbelievable how much work he puts into everything. I love his bottle production, how he takes care of the angles, the people of the audience that you have to talk, and also the idea of coming out into the stage, the performance area, and hand all of the things that you are going to be using during the show to the first row, to the audience members in the first row, so people can pull the ropes, the rubber bands, the cards, the fruit, and all that stuff. It's simply amazing. I love his add a number routine. I love the handling that he used, extremely clean handling for the professor's nightmare. The coining bottle, how he uses 2 coins to convince people that it is impossible for the bigger coin to fit in. The fact of using 2 coins gives you the possibility of handing the bottle to the audience member, making sure that he's not going to take out the gimmick coin from inside. Simply and utterly a true master. Everyone that I'm talking about here are masters, 100%. But I love his work and how simple and how conversational everything looks. At the same time, you know that it's completely worked in and that he knows the motions second by second. So I love that kind of balance of having the feeling that he's simply there with you talking, and at the same time it's like a machine gun perfecting every different move that he's doing right in your face. So yeah. I'm even getting emotional because I love watching this guy perform. Yeah. Let's take a look at the honorable mentions. Okay, as I already said, honorable mentions. So, Alberto de Figueiredo, Spanish magician, great. I use in my balloon routine, I use his gag, making the spectator eat something like a banana, a piece of pastry, or anything like that to take the bill from there, and then it doesn't appear. Simply that gag is amazing. The method that he used for the bill to fruit is probably my second favorite method to use, and I love his robe routine, his do as I do robe routine. It's also amazing, and he has a very good work on close-up magic too. So yeah, make sure that you take a look at this lecture because it is outstanding. Then we have Gary Jones, great. His fire cups is great. You couldn't get any simpler than that. In a cups and balls routine is great. I love him. He has like a gag beat where he has like 4 cards in different cards, and he changes the 4 cards into the 4 aces, and he looks like he's palming the 4 in different cards, and then he shows that the 4 cards that he's palming are also the 4 aces, so he ends up with holding 8 aces on his hands. Great bits, great routines. And I use, as you know, a rock, paper, scissors routine in my act, and something that I'm working on is trying to put inside that routine his work into the rock, paper, scissors game, because he has a couple of prediction tricks in there using rock, paper, scissors as the main hook line, which is great. Then I love Tom Wright, full pack of magic, the bottle production, the bottle through table, the card from mouth, the chop cup. His chop cup routine is ingenious. His work with invisible thread, outstanding. You should take a look at it. And to finish, Gaetan Bloom. Gaetan Bloom is a master, and as I mentioned in the top 5 books of all time that I read, magical books, his books and everything that he does is extremely thought-provoking. It's unbelievable how much your mind starts working when you realize what this guy can do with so little. It's amazing. So okay, let's go straight to number 1, and my top 1. Let's make it this very interesting, like someone cares, right? Okay, my number 1 penguin lecture of all time is Mark James. Okay, and if you let me, I would love to put together both of his lectures. He has, I think, for now, a couple of lectures in the Penguin Magic, and I think it's great. The first lecture and the second lecture. By far, this guy has the record of the biggest amount of routines that I am using, that I use, and that I'm going to be using in the future in my shows. This guy is simply great. I love his work on the chop cup for close-up magic and on stage. The loads that I use for the fruit are a mixture of Scott Alexander's and these guys, because Scott Alexander teaches like more of a parlor close-up routine, and in his second lecture Mark James shows you the stand-up, the cabaret or stage handling of the chop cup, which is great. And as I mentioned in my top 5 chop cup routines, I think that this guy is the only one that I have seen doing the move where the ball vanishes from your hands and appears on top of the cup in a chop cup routine. I have seen a lot of people, Michael Ammar for example, doing that move but with cups and balls. And I think that that's a little bit easier because you have more things to misdirect the attention of the audience. But when you only have one cup and one ball, you must have very strong misdirection to make people look to the place you want where there is nothing, because the 2 items that you are using, the cup and the ball, are in the place where you don't want people to be looking at. So it is great. And I love his add a number routine that he has in his first lecture. His book test, he has different presentations for his book test in the first lecture and in the second lecture. I love his string theory, multiple selection in the second lecture, seal to egg, it's amazing. His work on the size Stevens deck, the classic 4s, it's simply great. All of the things that this guy put out, and I love his podcast, Talking Shtick. You can find it on Spotify, and he says that he couldn't possibly do lectures with material that he doesn't try out. Not because he is like a very serious magician, which he is, or not because like he's trying to portray his integrity, like I only teach what I perform. Yeah, he has some kind of that, but he basically says because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work creating tricks simply to teach them in lectures, and then creating other tricks to perform them, right? So it's like I am simply creating tricks to perform, and then those tricks that I perform, I explain them in lectures. So it is great. It is 100% unbelievable lecture. I advise anyone here, please, you should go there to Penguin Magic and buy any of the lectures that I explain here. I don't care if they are honorable mentions or one of the lecture of the top 5, because you are going to see not only a lot of material, but you are going to get your mind working around things. Something that I love to do is reading things or watching things that make me be better. Like I have to be like this guy, or at least I have to try. That's a feeling that I love having. I love watching great magicians and be like, oh, this guy is good, man. If I want to be someone, if I want to reach a certain level of success, I need to be like this guy or even better. That's something that I love doing. You always have to be looking up. Don't look below because you already you already surpassed that step. Okay, always look up, always shoot at the stars. Okay, guys. So I hope that you found this information useful. Please subscribe, please comment below, and I will see you, as always, in a near future. Bye there.